I think they scored against Napoli when they were playing better. I don't know if you remember with Immobile, and then after that the match was over for Lazio.
But even the Immobile goal that came about as a kind of counter-attack move. You know, Lazio were camped in their own half. Acerbi brings it out and pings the ball up into space, and Immobile does the rest all by himself. It's not come as a result of carving teams open and applying the pressure and then unlocking the door. You know, that's a problem Lazio have got, is that when they're doing all this nice stuff and they're passing it around, great one-touch football, carving spaces open into the pitch, and it doesn't actually lead anywhere a lot of the time.
No, and I think what you were saying leads me to say that Lazio doesn't have a plan B that works. Okay, we start well the first 20 minutes, playing as we wanted to play, and then Roma or the other team, especially big teams that are able to change and be effective, change tactic in defense. They block Lazio, and Lazio doesn't have a plan B. We tried very often to go long ball to Ciro Immobile, who was often on offside, so that didn't work. Then you try to work pushing on the wings, but Marusic, after, I think 10 minutes, was simply embarrassing. And Lulic didn't have that much. Lulic did something, but didn't produce nothing special. I think that's the problem. No plan B, no other option than hope that Milinkovic, Luis Alberto, and Ciro Immobile find something. When they're blocked, Lazio is pretty easy to stop.
Yeah, that's true, and that kind of goes back to something we've said all along, which is that why is Inzaghi not as tactically flexible as he was before? He used to, in his first full season, always have a plan B and a way of shaking things up and keeping the other coach on their toes, and he did do that a bit more today by changing the formation, like I said, and being a bit more proactive, but it needs to be a bit more practiced, and I think it was a wasted opportunity that over the summer in Aronso and in the friendly games we were still just playing 3-5-1-1 every game, every training session. It was always that system.
And then you play Napoli and you switch to a four-man defense. You play Roma and you play again you switch to a four-man defense. Yeah, I totally agree with what you're saying. We should have tested there. And then, of course, you have emergency, you have to change, and you do it the same in a football match. But at least you tried in friendly match.
Yeah, that's the thing I find the strangest, I suppose, is the fact that it's not even been attempted or tinkered with, Because, I think that there's definitely the resources in this team to play a 4-3-3 system or a 4-2-3-1 system pretty effectively. It's Inzaghi, after the game on Wednesday, when he was asked about Correa and how well he'd played, the goal he scored and everything, he said, well, the thing is, Correa's very good and an expert at playing in the wide positions, but we're still having to train him to play inside the pitch. And you're thinking, well, okay, that's fair enough. This is Felipe Anderson all over again. But if he is that good in the wide positions, then why don't we use him in the wide positions? We've seen Lulic in a few games this season, most notably Frosinone, having a really good impact in an attacking sense and really pinning teams back. So if you do switch to a 4-2-3-1, you have Correa on one side, Lulic on the other, and you can then get, whether it's Milinkovic or whether it's Alberto, closer to Immobile, have Badel and Lucas sitting. It seems like a good way of getting all these players into the same team in a structure that might work. I don't know. I'm not a coach, but
yeah, and
I'd definitely try it on FIFA anyway.
Yeah, and I think Correa can play very well even in a central position. He did it in the past, so it's not really Felipe Anderson type. But as we were saying, you need to test it in the summer, and that's why if you make transfer earlier, then you give your manager time to test these things out. But another thing of the plan B that doesn't work is, I don't want to say that Lazio played 10 men today, but Luis Alberto after 20 minutes were nothing, and Milinkovic, Savic never switched. So you have two of your best players not performing, and it's difficult for a manager to cope with that. So again, I think And I was replying to, I think, Patrick Bowman today about that. Good team, great teams are the ones that react after a defeat. And this means that after today, Lazio and Inzaghi and the players must see each self and decide, okay, from now on we have to play like that and much better. This is the chance for Lazio to do it, because the table is still very good. Let's not forget about that. But you need to step up, and this means Inzaghi to try maybe something different, but as well Luis Alberto and Milinkovic-Savic to decide if they want to play like last year or it's time to bench them. Because, as you were saying, Lazio has the option to this season. You have Correa, you have Berisha that I'm looking forward to see. And luckily, there's Thursday, there is the Europe League, and then there is Fiorentina. It's a very important match, and Lazio has the chance to react immediately and show that they improve.
Yeah, have to say I'm a bit concerned about the Fiorentina game. Been watching them quite a lot this season, and they're a spectacularly dangerous team going forward. I think they'll cause some real problems. But
absolutely,
he's right what he says. You do need, you do need a reaction to these setbacks, and the encouraging thing was that was exactly what we got after the start of the season. What better reaction to that than getting 5 wins in a row? But now you just have to, press the reset button and do it all over again. But I think it's maybe even harder after a derby because of what it meant.
Yeah, I agree, but I think we all agree that Lazio was favourite today and should have won, but they didn't. It's not tactically. They simply didn't have the will of win. The eye of the tiger, as I say often. Lazio didn't have it today. I don't remember strong tackles. I don't remember players running all over the field trying to win the ball and counter-attack. I saw Immobile running a lot, but didn't see all the others doing it. Luis Alberto is an example. And then, there are other points. Did you want to say something?
No, you can finish.
And then there is Marusic. Now, I don't know. You said he started well. I'm not sure about that. But every player who plays against Marusic looks like Messi. This is not possible. Every player who is playing against Marusic is unstoppable. Every player who plays against Marusic is able to stop Marusic all the time. This is unbelievable. It's not possible. I'm sorry. We gave enough time to Marusic. He's out. Next Thursday, he doesn't play. And I don't know. If Patrick plays well, then he has to play. He has to start.
Well, yeah, this is the thing. Marusic would have been out of the team by now if it wasn't for the fact that we don't have any players who are really pushing him. There's Patrick, there's Basta, but neither of them are going to give him any nightmares. You do need a reaction. I think because we've got all these games as well, it's not necessarily going to be a punitive thing. It's not necessarily that we'll go to Frankfurt and a lot of this team will get dropped as a result of the derby. It's just that. I think that was another one of the real really disappointing things from the game today, was the fact that we have seen Inzaghi rotate this team so successfully over the and it was so encouraging to go to Udine, get that win, so many changes, and then have Milinkovic, particularly coming into this match, 80 minutes, having sat on the bench. Same goes for Lucas Leiva, who was the one I was going to say I think did have a good game today in terms of that, running hard, tackling hard, winning the ball. But yeah, you just didn't see it. I thought, resting Milinkovic-Savic for 90 minutes and then unleashing him in a derby sounded like a perfect way of getting him back on song. But yeah, it wasn't really to be. And again, we saw him trying things a bit too hard.
Yeah, I was thinking that the subs are playing better than the so-called starting 11. I think against Udinese we saw Dormisi playing very well, Correa playing very well, and so on. And then you think, okay, wow, if they're playing well, imagine Milinkovic Savic, what he will do. And he played badly. So, yeah, maybe it's time for a hard rotation of players.
You know, the other thing I wanted to get onto, the other people who have to do better are the fans. It was embarrassing today to have an entire section of the stadium closed for a derby match. And for all I've tried to find the reason, the only reason is the kickoff time. How is 3 o'clock on a Saturday a difficult kickoff time for people? I mean, it's shocking. I mean, it's absolutely pathetic.
I agree with you. And the fact that the Curva Nord didn't do any choreography, it was, again, another terrible thing from the fans.
I don't have an issue with their stance on this though, actually, because they've basically said, you know, it's people expect us to do this every time, but it comes out of their own pockets. When they've tried to do collections among the fans to raise funds for these kind of things, they've been finding coppers in the pot and things like that, which they say is disgraceful. But, you know, they say, what's the point of them making this huge effort at great expense to unveil this amazing choreography if they look to the left and there's 20,000 empty seats? I mean, who are they doing this for? I don't really have an issue with their stance on it today, because I think that Lazio were just let down by their support. And we've said before, when Lazio were doing really well under Inzaghi, that this is a team that deserves support. And you're talking about a team that's going into a derby with five wins in a row against a really bad Roma team. And it's in the middle of the afternoon on a Saturday. What's the problem here? I mean, it really winds me up. It really does. And if people say, oh, you know, you might have plans to go away for the weekend, or I'm having lunch with my grandmother, well then don't. This fixture happens twice a year. I mean, you know, it's not a secret when this fixture is going to take place. Everyone's known for weeks now. It winds me up.
Yeah, I could see it. And you have a valid point, you know. And again, if you're a Lazio fan, you go to every home match. There is no excuse. And, you know, when I was in Rome, I was going to every single match. The Saturday night, Thursday night, Tuesday at lunchtime, you know. Lazio started playing 10 years ago at 12 o'clock in the morning. So you get used to it and you adapt. If you want to go to the match, if you are a real Lazio fan and live in Rome, really you don't have any excuse. So that's disappointing.
And I can't tell you as well how many people I've met already here in Rome that you meet and find out they're Lazio fans. You go, oh great, and you talk about the team, blah blah blah, and then you say, oh, you're going to the game this weekend now. I'll say, oh no, I don't go to the stadium. I don't understand it. It's this crazy contradiction of this football-mad city and football-mad country with terrible declining attendances. And how can you say that you're an ultra or that you're a massive fan and then just not pay €18 to go and watch your team on a weekend? It's crazy.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And this is a point we already talked. And the other thing is, if you remember, Lazio-Napoli, the fans didn't chant for pretty much all the first half. So there is these problems with the fan. I think it's still related to Lotito being the president, but I mean, you should move up from that and start supporting the team, because the only thing is you're not helping the team, which looks to be having problems, some mentality problems, and in this case, fans can help them, no, right? Chanting when they're struggling, etc. Instead, with the stadium half empty, they're not giving the support that maybe this team needs.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I should say actually on the back of that is that the fans who were there today created an incredible atmosphere. I mean, they were louder than the Roma fans for most of the game today, and considering how outnumbered they were, that was pretty impressive. So the guys who were there offered incredible support to the team. So this isn't intended to be a criticism at all of the people who actually turned up. It's just the fact that there were still so many empty seats. And I'm sure this is something as well that will frustrate a lot of our listeners, because we have people all around the world listening to this who would absolutely die to go to a Rome derby.
Well,
when you consider the guys who live 20 minutes from the stadium who won't pay €20 for a ticket to go. It's insulting to those of us who have made such a big effort at such great expense to see Lazio over the years.
Yeah, absolutely. We have some of our listeners that from Scotland go to watch Lazio like once a month or so, or like that, and other people around the world that does it. So, this could drive them nuts, thinking that if someone lives 25 minutes from the stadium, doesn't go to the matches. But going back to the match, as Shaw McIntosh is asking, do you think Lazio has a weak mentality? Because after the defeat against Napoli, Juventus and Roma?
I don't know. The mentality question is such a kind of football cliche, really, at this point, and it's something that I've heard Di Francesco talk about almost every game this season as well about Roma. I don't think there's necessarily a mentality problem with the team. I just think that for whatever reason they're failing to step up on these big occasions, and I think that there's just maybe a lack of belief that they can get results in these games. And this is why I thought last season the fact that this team went to Turin and beat Juventus, I thought that's a real watershed moment for this team that have had such bad form in these big games. And it didn't turn out that way. That should have opened the floodgates for Lazio to be a lot more confident and a lot more effective at getting results against the big teams. But now we've played 7 games, won 4 of them, and then the 3 we've lost have been against 3 of the 4 teams who finished above us last season. Well, if we hope to finish in the Champions League places, you have to beat those teams. It's so simple. It's just maths. So I don't know if it is a mentality problem, but they just are incapable of playing at the same level against these teams. Maybe they don't have the belief, but history says otherwise, and that's why I'm hesitant to say it's a mentality issue, is because we have seen them get results like the one in Turin.
And the fact is, if you think with Simone Inzaghi, Lazio already have beat Juventus twice, have beat Milan, have beat Roma twice in 1 year. So you cannot say that the manager has it 1 year, doesn't have it the next year. Maybe it's a mix of performance and belief. Obviously, if Luis Alberto understands that he's not in top form, then he doesn't believe he can beat the top teams. Same thing, Milinkovic-Savic. Obviously, if you feel that you're not performing at your best, then when you're playing against the best, you struggle. And you're not convinced because you know that you're not playing that well. Probably it's that the reason why Lazio is not performing that well.
The problem is as well that it's self-perpetuating, because now it's, the longer you go without getting a result in these games, the harder it'll be for you to believe that you can win these games. And now that's 6 defeats in the last 8 derbies for Lazio, which is absolutely shocking result. And
yep.
if players will be told these things and asked about these things in the build-up to games by journalists, and that's going to only put more doubt in their mind about it. So,
But honestly, and this is the point that drives me nuts, after you lose so many matches, so many derby, you should play in the next one really with the eye of the tiger. In Italy we say with blood in your eyes, because you're so willing to finally make it. So it should be the opposite, right? It should be you more focused, more willing than the other team. Instead, today Roma wanted badly to win. And the fact is that really annoyed me is that you can see in the second half, Dzeko had a lot of discussion with other players. You can see that the Roma team, is not merged together. They're fighting each other. So it's not a team that they had a team spirit and win like that. But still, they wanted to win more than Lazio. Roma was a team in the second half that if Lazio should have destroyed after scoring against Immobile. Instead, they gave up. They didn't want to win. It looks like. So if you don't win for 7 matches, then the 8th you should really come in and I would be more happy to see three players sent off because they made hard tackles than losing like that. Today, only 1 yellow card for Lazio, and it's a derby.
Yeah, I mean, that's not necessarily the worst thing in the world. I don't think it's... Yeah, I know what you mean. You want to see people who are committed, but it's not necessarily the worst thing to come away with only 1 booking. But yeah, you're right. I mean, probably this team could do with a bit more of that. I mean, we were talking about this just before we came on, how best to to translate cattiveria, which is what Simone Inzaghi mentioned straight after the game that Lazio are lacking. And I suppose it's the kind of the willingness to do everything to win, and the kind of, even if it's the dirty tricks and all this kind of stuff. And yeah, but I mean, that goes back to the point I made earlier about naivety. I think is possibly part of that argument.
I still think that the reason why Roma won today and Lazio lost is because Lazio players didn't want it that badly. And then we have to talk about one point that was, I don't want to say shocking, but seeing Cáceres play instead of Wallace was a big surprise. Radu wasn't called for this match, so he had no chances to play. And we were all expecting Wallace, Acerbi, and Ramos. Instead, Cáceres played. And it was a surprise. I don't think Cáceres played well at all.
Yeah, and that's becoming a theme of the season, unfortunately, at the moment. You would have thought he would be one of our more reliable guys back there, but he certainly hasn't been the start of this season. It's a relief to have Luis Felipe back because he's looked pretty good in the last couple of games. And one of the tackles he made earlier today, I mean, it was as good as scoring a goal when El Shaarawy got free in the box, and he recovered in time, and he just timed his challenge perfectly. I mean, that wins you games, that kind of tackle. Fortunately, not on this occasion. But yeah, I think it was a strange decision, and it's a particularly hard one, I think, because Wallace is a guy, he's a confidence player, and you can tell when he's not confident that he's struggling a bit, and when his head goes down, he's more likely to make those errors that plague his game. And I think that the fact that Inzaghi, despite having played him, I think 4 matches in a row ahead of this game, decided to suddenly drop him, it doesn't send out a great message to Wallace. He's been playing well, he's been playing regularly, it gets to a big game, and Inzaghi doesn't trust him. I'm not sure that it was the right call, but as well, I'm not sure that it's going to be good for Wallace's, I suppose, his confidence going forward.
Yeah, it was a surprise move. And as you were saying, I thought Wallace was playing very well this season. So it's not that you say Wallace is struggling, I try something different. This is a little bit a surprise for me. I said last time, Inzaghi was able to see the players available and pick the best option. Well, today I thought he wanted to outsmart Di Francesco with this option, surprising, and it didn't work out. So that was, I think, a mistake from Simone Inzaghi. On the other side, we have to say that Ramos played, for me, was the best Lazio player of the match. You talk about the tackle with El Shaarawy, but as well, he made another one in the first half. I think if Lazio finished the first half only down 1-0, only thanks to Strakosha and Felipe Luis, who had an amazing match. I think he didn't do nothing wrong today. He was terrific, and that's really encouraging because we're talking about a very young player. And as we said on Thursday, the derby often, and these big matches, is often decided by episode. And as usual, we should say Lazio is very unlucky because Pastore was another time playing bad. He got injured. The player who comes in scored. Ciro Immobile had immediately the chance to to score and draw the match, and the ball bounced badly and hit his knee, and so he's not able to shoot immediately, and Fazio is able to make the tackle. All these things, and even in the first 20 minutes, Ciro Immobile had a great chance from corner kick, and I don't remember who is able to deflect it, a shot who should have been on target. So, it's even bad luck for Lazio. This happen often for Lazio, but, a good team should be even better than luck.
Yeah, I agree. And actually, it was encouraging that was another thing Inzaghi mentioned after the game. He said, there were certain episodes that went against us and we were unlucky in certain moments of the match, but he didn't use it as an excuse at all. And I think that's really encouraging. His reaction to the game has been the right one, which is to say Roma deserved this win. They were more determined than us, and not go and blame things like that. That's more likely to get a reaction out of the players that way.
Yeah, I agree. But again, we'll see, because I don't remember the last years Lazio coming so strong to a derby, after 4 wins in a row, strong performance in the last couple of matches, Roma instead struggling, and you play badly, after the first 20 minutes. I think Lazio didn't play as expected, and now you have two tough matches, because you have the Europa League, Stuttgart, that it's Frankfurt, that it's a tough match, and then you have Fiorentina, that is probably one of the teams that's playing better in Serie A, who has a lot of weapon to make you struggle, because Chiesa, Simeone, etc. they have a very good attacking team that can create you a lot of problems. And obviously Pioli wants to come back to Rome and win and show that he didn't deserve to be sacked. So 2 very difficult matches. We're going to see if the players are going to react.
Yeah, let's hope so. Yeah, you're right. I don't know an awful lot about this Frankfurt team, but they got a great result in the first week, coming from behind to beat Marseille. So it is a game that can put us clear at the top of the Europa League group, so it's very important in that way. And I think the away games against Frankfurt and Marseille are probably going to be what decides this group as well. So yeah, that's a really big game. But I think the Fiorentina one is even bigger and even more important, because this is a Fiorentina team that have looked absolutely brilliant going forward. But then they're also, like Lazio, a team that have actually struggled when they've come around to playing big teams. Not necessarily with performances. I mean, I watched their game against Inter last week, and they actually were really, really unlucky not to win, to lose that game. But yeah, they've had defeats against Napoli and Inter, so hopefully we can add to that list for them rather than vice versa.
Yep, and as said, it's going to be a very, very important match. Alazer, I know it's early to say it, but if you would be Simone Inzaghi, next Sunday against Fiorentina, would you drop Luis Alberto and Marusic?
Yeah, maybe. I think basically Inzaghi's got tough calls to make, but I think they're becoming less tough as time goes on. I think that the Alberto one, I've said this before, he was the coach, and he believes in him as should, because we've seen what he's like his best, but it's going to cloud his judgment when it comes to decisions like these big games, the fact that he keeps picking big games. But yeah, I think the next few weeks are going to be pretty decisive going up to the next international break. It is possibly the part of the season where we're going to see that 0-2 start 11 change shape a bit.
And I hope to see Berisha finally. I think Thursday, I don't know if he's going to start, but I hope he's going to play Thursday, because he needs time to get fit. And, depending on how he plays on Thursday, maybe he could start on a Sunday. I still believe he's going to be the best he's the best signing Lazio made this summer, and still he didn't play a second. I think he can change a lot of. I hope at this point he can change a lot of things in Lazio midfield.
Don't put too much pressure on him.
Well, after tonight, after today, we need to hope someone comes in and change things, because again, I wanted to see a reaction.
Yeah, we all did, and we're all right to be disappointed with what we got from the team. Yeah, it's not what we're looking for. What more can we say?
Yeah, Alistair, I would close it here so that you can walk back home now and relax. Thank you again for joining me. Again, we have to think about the next derby. Maybe it's better if you watch it from home.
Well, yeah, possibly. I don't know. I mean, my kind of golden age has now been shattered, having, not seen a Roma win and seen Lazio winning a lot of games, and suddenly within 3 days that's all gone completely tits up. So, yeah, I don't know. I'll consider it for your sake.
I think the next match will be fundamental even for you, for your future.
The threat of those plane tickets being bought is back, is it?
Absolutely. You're a little bit like Marusic, I would say now.
Yeah.
Again,
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Alistair. Remember, everybody, you can subscribe to our podcast on iTunes, on Spreaker, follow us on Twitter and Facebook, and obviously on our Patreon page you can become membership starting from $2, membership from $2, $5, $10, $20. And you can even have access to the exclusive video Alistair McKenzie did before the derby and what he will do this week. For the moment, thank you everybody to follow us. I know it was tough today to follow the podcast. We hope that this podcast helped you a little bit relief after this bad defeat in the derby. And hopefully Lazio will rise again, as did always in the past, and play better in the coming weeks, in the coming match. We are going to talk again Thursday after the Europa League, and then obviously after Lazio-Fiorentina Sunday. Thank you very much, everybody, and Forza Lazio.